Hi, I'm Clara Rose, and this is Influence Matters, the show where each week I share tips, tricks, tools, hacks, resources, whatever you want to call them, to help savvy influence builders just like you to strategically and intentionally cultivate influence. Because influence organically generates leads for our business, ministry, cause, brand, whatever it is you got going on. And that is why we are here today. So welcome to this episode. Now, before we get started, of course, I have to say thank you to our show sponsor for helping to make this show possible. So special thanks to Rosedale Publishing. They specialize in business books for professionals and entrepreneurs just like you. So if you're looking to get that book out of your head and get it published, you can reach out to Rosedale. Thank you for being our show sponsor. And then, of course, I have to thank the fine folks at Tampa Bay Multimedia and WeBeam TV, where we are today, for truly making this show possible. So here we are. Look at, they're all festive and Christmassy here at the studio. Exciting. Let's get started on today's episode. Now, if you are a regular, you know that I start out each week with the question of the week. But today, there is no question of the week. And you say, but why, Clara? Well, it's because we have an exciting guest on the show today. So her name is Debbie Clement-Large, and she is coming to us from the UK. Welcome, Debbie.
Hi, lovely to be part of the show again. Thank you for having me.
It is my pleasure. So we're super excited. Debbie was, if you are a follower of the show, you know Debbie was on the show in July when our book launched, which was super exciting for us. And since then, we've taken it a step farther to help the new business builders out there in the group to start that new journey to becoming an entrepreneur. And so we're super excited to tell you about the next step that we took after the book. Aren't we, Debbie?
We certainly are. We thought the book was great and really valuable, but now we've made it into a fantastic masterclass, over 7.5 hours of fantastic material to really help you just to make a difference and create the business that you want.
Absolutely. Plus, it comes with a workbook that's going to help you through the process. And those are on-demand trainings, so you can take them whenever it's convenient for you. And then, of course, the platform allows you to ask questions, leave comments, things of that nature. So you're never alone. We're there to help you when you get stuck or you have questions that you just feel like you need a body, a real-life person to answer. We're there to help you with that. Okay, so today we're going to just briefly touch on who Debbie is, in case you didn't meet her before. So Debbie is a intuitive life and leadership coach. You can find information about her at whyfollowtheherd.com. And she helps people from the mindset side of things, where I help people from the tactical, businessy side of things. She's talking about life and leadership, which of course includes business, from a mindset side of things. So if you'd like to know more about her, hop over to her website and check her out. Okay, so you know we wrote the book together, 8 Ways to Mind Your Own Business, and I thought today it would be great fun to go through each of those ways quickly, since we didn't have a whole lot of time, and talk about each of the ways from my perspective and from her perspective. So give you just a taste of what you're going to get in the Masterclass series. Okay, so we're going to start with step 1, or way 1, which is passion, and I'm going to talk about passion matters. So we're going to talk about, in the Masterclass, from a passion perspective, self-discovery, and the value and importance of knowing who you are and what it is that you'd like to do with your new business. And then, of course, the due diligence, that's so important, learning all about the business that you're about to embark into and to see if it's really a good fit for you, see who's out there doing it and how they're doing it, how you might differentiate yourself. And then, of course, talk about planning, the strategic plan to get you from where you are to where it is you would like to be. Okay, Debbie, tell us about the inspired side of passion.
So you know that I like to talk about goals as intentions. It's softer, it gives us the ability to change and be flexible. So we'll learn more about the external intentions you can have, like creating more customers, but also the internal intentions, the intentions in our inner world, if you like, because we need a balance. Now, in life, we don't get what we want, we get who we are. So we'll get as much success as we believe that we can have, what we're worthy of, what we're deserving of. So we look all around those to really align up with your passion.
Yes, good stuff. You'll want to get the rest of that stuff from the masterclass for sure. So important. Okay, let's move on to way 2, which is creation. So I'm going to talk just briefly about creation matters or matters of creation. This is the beginning startup stages that is super fun, but can be stressful for some people. So I'm just here to tell you, have fun with it. Here's where you're going to figure out your company name, your logo, talk about colors for your company, what different colors mean even, who you want to serve and why. These are foundational to your business, and they're like the very beginning stages of your journey, but some people struggle. So going to give you some good pointers on how to do those things successfully without being stressed out about it. Talk about your core values for sure and how important they are in your business. They guide all of your decisions, of course, in your business. And it's important to create the culture from the get-go that you're after so that later you don't have to try to correct something that isn't quite right. And then, of course, getting those goals out of your head, or intentions, as Debbie calls them, out of your head onto paper where we can do something with them. Creating some good savvy goals. And we will do a whole segment on savvy goals later this month. So before the new year, watch out for that. Okay, share some tips about inspired creation from the Master Series.
So inspired creation is all about understanding how we can cultivate and shape the words we use, both in our inner dialogue and the words we say to other people, and also the mental imagery that we have. Creating that right balance to support where we're going is really important, because what you think about and what you feel about what you're doing is what will show up and what you'll experience. If you think struggle, you'll experience struggle. If you think ease and effortlessness, that is more of what you'll experience. So in the masterclass, I really take you through the push me, pull you of language and how you can best use that to your advantage.
Oh, such good stuff. I have learned so much this year working on this project, working with somebody who works in mindset stuff. So much value. Okay, let's move on to the next way, which is business. So these are matters of business. I call them business matters. So these are the things you're going to talk to your accountant and your tax attorney about before you make decisions. But in the masterclass, we're going to talk about the different structures that are available to you for starting your business and the different things that you need to be aware of locally. If you need local licensing, things of that nature. And then, of course, protecting your assets, insurance, and all the supplemental coverages and things that you may not have thought about because they're provided to you by an employer. But now that you're going to be your own employer, you need to think about some of those things. So those are really valuable pieces you're not going to want to miss that are in the masterclass. Okay, tell us about the inspired side. Way more fun.
Thank you, Clara. Yes, being inspired business is looking at your challenges. Now, when you're setting up all the things that Claire was talking about, undoubtedly you'll come across a challenge or two. So how do you deal with a challenge? How do you deal with it subconsciously? What pattern and what path does that take you down? Do you like control? Do you like all your ducks lining up in a row? Well, if you feel irritated or you feel frustrated with situations, circumstances, and people, there is something wonderful to learn. And actually, we take you through some of the things that you can learn to be a greater understanding of why things are happening and how you can deal with challenges in a better way.
Also, really good stuff. Okay, let's move on to the next way, which is operations. So, operation matters. So, here I'm going to be talking about the tools. These are the creating of your marketing tools that you're going to use to promote your business, and then some of the other activities of operation, getting organized in the beginning so that things don't fall through the cracks later. Anything that's trackable and done consistently or done repeatedly, got to have a way to track those things. So we're going to talk about all the important pieces for operations within your business. And then something that is rarely talked about in the business world, but I think is so important, gratitude. We're going to talk about a plan to show gratitude to your customers and your vendors alike, so they know you appreciate the fact that without them, you wouldn't even be in business. So we're going to talk about that as well. Okay. And let's hear from Debbie about some inspired stuff.
So inspired operation starts with having a look at our ego. So our ego wants us to be smarter. It wants us to be faster. It wants us to do more. It wants us to create this amazing business right off the bat. Well, our ego can get in the way. So there's a wonderful exercise that we go through about understanding our personalities and how those different aspects of our personality, of which ego is a part, can get in a way, and how we can tap into that really creative, inspired part of us to know what is the right next step to take and how to organize our thinking to best effect.
Absolutely. Okay. Moving on to the next way, which is all about prosperity. Might not be what you think it is, but let's talk about prosperity matters from my perspectives. So I'm going to be talking about how you price things in your business. Pricing things in a retail business is totally different than pricing things in a service-based business. And it's one of the questions that I get often from my clients. So we're going to talk about how to not be a race to the bottom of the barrel to the cheapest, and how to do some value stacking so that you're pricing stuff and they're getting value, you're still getting valued for your time as well. And then, of course, talking about budgeting. Nobody loves to talk about money in and money out. Well, maybe money in they like to talk about, but they don't like to talk about the money out. But it's super important if you're going to be successful in business. And then we're also going to talk about bootstrapping or self-funding, unless you're going to get some financing from somewhere else. We'll talk about all those topics in the nuts and bolts section. Let's hear about the more fun, inspired side of prosperity.
Oh, prosperity is a really interesting thing. It can be create more interest and more thinking than even sex, things like that. So let's have a look. So money mindset. Money is a commodity. It is something we barter with, but prosperity is a mindset. So how do you see money? Do you have a prosperity mindset? Do you feel a lack and a scarcity? So I share a couple of really great stories in the masterclass to really understand where you are coming from. You can have millions in the bank and still have a poverty consciousness. It can really hold you back. So lack and scarcity are all rooted in fear, but we can change that. We can change that. And one of the ways that Clara's already said is through gratitude. So we're looking forward to really opening up your mind to allowing a greater expression of abundance into it.
Yes. Oh, and that is a good section you will not want to miss in the masterclass. Okay. Let's move on so we don't run out of time and talk about the next way, which is connections. So I'm going to talk about connection matters first. So right out of the gate, I'm going to say you have got to get comfortable with your 2-minute commercial, right? That elevator speech or whatever it is you want to call it, when somebody walks up to you for the first time and says, "What do you do?" You need to know what it is that you're going to say, so that you can just spit it right out and not stumble over yourself. And we're actually going to give you some tools to helping you create that in the masterclass. Really important to sound professional to your clients or potential clients, for sure. And then we're going to talk about networking and the importance of networking and how it is truly the lifeblood of your business. So how to do it effectively, where to find your ideal customers, things of that nature. And then, of course, there's so much noise out there, how to cut through the noise of all of the other people out there also trying to vie for their attention. So we'll talk about authenticity and consistency. So nuts and bolts for sure, but important stuff you're not going to want to miss, especially if you've never owned a business before. Okay, let's hear from Debbie about the inspired side, which is always so much more pleasant.
So I expand on what you talk about with your elevator pitch, and I use the power of story, how our brains are hardwired for story, how we engage with story and connect with other people through the use of story. So I share with you some great ways that you can either include story about yourself or other people, or even your product or your brand, just to really create some wonderful connections that make you memorable.
Such good stuff, my friend. Okay, moving on to the next way, which is customers. Indeed, if you do not have customers, you're not in business, right? They give you the revenue that makes you in business. So I'm going to talk just for a minute about the customer matters that I'm covering in the masterclass. Okay, first thing, I'm going to just give you a quick little tip. I'm going to teach you how to master the art of serving your customers. That may not be something that comes to mind when you think about being in business for yourself, but absolutely, if you want to have a successful business, it is all about serving your customers, giving them value, going the extra mile, always being kind and compassionate, remembering to value them as humans. We talk a lot about that. And then working from a place of integrity, because if you do not, customers will recognize it. When you work from a place of integrity, they recognize it and they reward you with loyalty. And we all want loyal customers for sure. Loyal customers and referrals, which are gold, my friends. They are your most valuable asset for sure. So take really good care of them. Okay, talk to us about the inspired side of customers.
Well, we all know what it's like to be a customer. We know what it is like to experience good customer service, and we know what it's like when we don't experience good customer service. But how do we know what we're doing when we're building our own business? Do we know if the processes, the operations, the systems, and everything that we're putting in place are going to leave our customers feeling, wow, that experience working with them and ordering from them was fantastic? So in the masterclass, I share with you a wonderful visualization tool for you to understand what it's like for your customers and all the different experiences that they'll have with you through all the channels in which they come in contact with you, because there are lots of different ways that your customers can come in contact with you. And the more you understand what it feels like to go through that process, the better that you'll create something to have loyal and really raving fans that want more of what you have to offer.
So true. And taking good care of your customers from a customer perspective, that's gold. I keep saying that kind of thing is gold, but that's putting yourself in their shoes will teach you so much about how to keep happy customers. And you'll get some insight, right? Get some insight into how you're running your business and think, I might need to change that so that my customers feel more valued as human beings. Okay, and the eighth way to mind your own business is employees. Employee matters is what I'm going to touch on really quickly, but I talk about it in much more in depth when we're in the masterclass series. It's really just about finding and vetting and bringing in the right people for the job. Really is about finding people that are a good fit for your culture, that are a good fit for the business people that you're serving, the clients that you're serving, a good fit. So important to put not just people a good fit in your company, but where in your company, that the position that they hold is actually a good fit for them as well. We talk a little bit about how to know if you're putting them in the right positions. And then having a systemized method for vetting and hiring them is super important. It will help you to be consistent in how the process is done, but it will also help to keep you from inadvertently discriminating against somebody by treating them different in some way. So if everything's systemized and done the same way every time, then that can't happen to you, which can avoid some litigation for you down the road somewhere. And then understanding, of course, that there are other ways besides just a full-time employee to help yourself out if you're getting busy in your business, like interns or apprentices, contract workers, part-time employees, full-time employees, salaried employees. We're going to talk about it all. So you're going to want to learn all about those options in the masterclass. Okay, inspire us about employees, my friend.
Oh, it's a big step, isn't it, when you take on employees? Absolutely. And having those processes, like you say, is so important. But then once you've got these people working with you, how do you communicate with them? What is your style? There are different styles. We can be passive on one end or we can be aggressive on the other end. But where are you? So in the masterclass, we take you through an exercise to find out a little bit more about your communication style, because building great relationships with other people always starts with understanding yourself, taking responsibility for your actions, your behaviors, what you say. So it is really easy to want other people to change. To blame other people for things that are going wrong, to point the finger. But do you know what? When you understand yourself on a deeper level, when you understand who triggers you, why you're triggered, why you're irritated, why you're frustrated, you can learn so much. These people are just the biggest teachers for you. And when you understand yourself, when you work on yourself, when you then communicate with other people, you will find you will have much better relationships. So building great relationships always starts with ourselves.
That is so true. Gosh, isn't she just full of good stuff? Understanding and knowing yourself, so important. Okay, so those are the 8 ways to mind your own business. Those are the strategies and mindset for the new entrepreneur, just like our book said. Then, of course, our masterclass just takes it so much deeper. So we don't want to leave you today without giving you a free resource. So let me share with you how you can get a free resource. Almost can't say that. Free resource from us. So if you go to inspiredbusinessmatters.com, you can download a free checklist that's going to help you get started on this brand new entrepreneurial journey. It's the nuts and bolts and the mindset for you to get started. And you are going to want this free resource. Yes, you do have to put in your email in exchange for it, but we promise we will not spam you, okay? And of course, you can unsubscribe at any time if you're not interested in what it is that we have to say. Okay, so that's our free resource for you. And we want to talk, of course, about the book just briefly, because that is a much deeper than the checklist. You can get it on Amazon or any of your favorite local bookstores will have it available. If they don't actually carry it in-house, they can order it off the distribution list for you and get it in for you, often even drop ship it directly to your home, or you can just order from home and they will just send it right to your home, or you can find it on Amazon, of course. 8 ways to mind your own business. You can look it up under Clara Rose or Debbie Clement-Large, and you will find it in both countries, both places. Okay, so now you have a free. You have a relatively inexpensive book, and then, of course, you have the masterclass, which this is truly that deep dive that takes you over 7 hours, like 7.5 hours of on-demand training and a workbook to help you get started on this journey. And you can find that at thenewbusinessbuilders.com. You can jump right over there and get signed up. Do it at your leisure. It's not an expensive course. And then please, we invite you to hop into the comment section on each of the modules and leave comments, ask questions, interact with whoever's around. We'd love to help you on this journey. We're excited for you as you start a new entrepreneurial journey. So you are that new business builder. We're excited for you. Okay, have we covered everything?
I think we've covered a lot, and I'm really excited that for this masterclass journey, the series, because actually you can go through it in 5 days. It's about an hour and a half a day. And that's not a lot to invest in yourself, into learning and really kickstarting. And wow, if I'd known all of this information, Clara, I've learned such a lot from you over the time. And if I'd learned all this information when I started my business, I know I wouldn't have made so many mistakes, but we learn all the time. And yeah, this is exciting to share this.
Thank you so much. I have learned so much from you as well. Having been a business owner for many, many, many years, I mean, I started my first business when I was 18. I have made so many mistakes along the way, but I never had any mindset training when it came to business. So it's been an interesting journey as we wrote the book together. Just learning that other side of things was so fascinating to me. And I've had a number of people who have already come through the masterclass saying, wow, I'm just impressed by how you guys cover both sides of a topic, an issue, so thoroughly. I feel equipped. And that, my friends, is our goal, to leave you feeling equipped to start this entrepreneurial journey, knowing that there's somebody there to kind of hold your hand, kind of help you out. Okay, so we're winding down, running out of time today, but really quickly, if you want some more information about Debbie, tell us how we can best get a hold of you, Debbie.
Always happy to help with any comments or anything that anybody would want to know. You can find a lot on my website. It's whyfollowtheherd.com. Or if you want to reach out with an email, it's debbie@whyfollowtheherd.com. So absolutely always up for a quick coffee or a virtual coffee or a chat or anything online with my membership programs, or there's plenty of information. There's some downloads on there too, just to help you to kickstart your journey into creating a more mindful life.
Very nice. Thank you so much for being on the show again, my friend. And I will see you soon.
Thank you for having me.
All right, you're so welcome. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in once more to another episode of Influence Matters. So here I am once again encouraging you to write, speak, and lead, because influence really does matter, my friends. If you'd like more information about how you can work with me, of course, you can hop over to my website, clararose.com, and click on any one of the tabs, the write if you're looking to write a book, the speak if you need that signature speech, and lead if you need some more Influence Matters information. So, okay, we covered a lot. We look forward to seeing you in the Masterclass series. Don't forget to join us and tune in next week for more Influence Matters.